Hi, my name's Jim. I'm here in the Albuquerque, New Mexico marketplace, and this is your driver Mike's contributor program.
Appreciate you joining Jim on our contributor program where we bring on fellow gig workers. Folks, my name is Mike. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. I've been doing gig work since 2015. So Jim, welcome from Albuquerque, New Mexico. You have the Deliver That shirt on. Today, we're talking about catering gig apps, what I think is a fantastic opportunity right now. So when did you start gig work, and specifically, like how long have you been doing the catering gig apps?
I started part-time gigging around 2015, probably 19, I don't know. I started full-time in November of 22. I picked up my first catering app. I think it was the beginning of this year. It's right after I saw you doing a video on DeliverThat.
And today, folks, we're talking about just these catering platforms because Jim has very unique experience in catering, the big three. So we're talking about, well, actually more than the big three because it's DeliverThat, as you can see here, Zifty, there's Delivered, rebranded as Expedite. But Jim, I want to start with Skipcart, 7-Eleven owned Skipcart. Apparently does catering. I'm going to pass it off to you. How has this Skipcart catering thing been? Has it been busy? Talk to us about it.
I'd say since basically the school year began, it's been busier. There are orders here and there throughout the summer, but as you get into the colder months, well, cold it being relative, you tend to see more. Skipcart has seen a definite uptick for me. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but there it is. I'll take it. If you want to give me money, that's fine with
So
me.
let's take a look at some of these offers here. Now, when you're looking at these Skipcart runs, so here's your marketplace. Here's what the home screen looks like when you're online. And it sounds like, yes, there's a little bit of an uptick here. Typically, you're going to get paid a good amount per mile. I want you to make at least $1.75, folks. $2 to $3 plus ideally. Now, granted, it does depend on marketplace. You may have to shift those scales depending on your marketplace. So if we're looking at an order like this, $15 tip, $22.80, and we've seen some other offers as well, because this one, it's a little bit more on the mileage, but how has Skipcart been like on the pay per mile and whatnot?
Honestly, for the most part, that order that you're looking at, that would be one where I would just probably say no to it and let somebody else take. But I knew that this was coming up. I wanted to be able to get plenty of screenshots of the workflow, and so I took that. In general, I'd say, including my commute to the restaurant, because that's part of my job is getting there. I'd say 3 plus a mile. If you
Nice.
were just doing the trip itself, most of them are less than 2 or 3 miles. So, I mean, even a small one like this, $22. If it was a 2 mile trip, that would be 11 a mile.
Yeah. And I will tell you this, folks. I mean, this is literally the first one I grabbed. Definitely not, I would say, the commonplace on catering, because like Jim said, most of these catering runs, it's exceptional pay for low mileage. So staying on Skipcarts, how many offers are you getting, let's say, a week? Because it is less than food delivery. And then how is actually the delivery process? Do you find it easy enough to make the deliveries on Skipcart?
I would say on Skipcart itself, probably 2 to 3 a week. It's hard for me to tell because since I have all four of the Easy Cater platforms, I don't always keep track of which ones are which. The actual process is fairly straightforward. All four apps operate about the same. You just have little details here and there, but the apps tell you exactly what they want when they want it. So There's no mysteries about what do you need to do. Pretty
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
straightforward
easy
and easy
enough.
as long as you have the equipment.
I said per week because, yes, you're going to get less offers in general on catering. It's just not the order volume as regular food delivery. And that's okay. Like Jim said, I'm activated on like all four that use, basically, you can kind of think of it as the umbrella or parent company, Easy Cater. And then they filter those offers through platforms like this. So let's turn our attention to the shirt that you have on now. I've done DeliverThat. I've done Zifty. Looking at DeliverThat, and I'll show you some examples on screen as well, folks. How is DeliverThat compared to, let's say, Skipcart? Order volume, how is the pay, the workflow? How do you like DeliverThat?
I like DeliverThat. I don't like that it pays out just twice a week, but if you make enough money, that's not as big a deal. That has definitely seen a decrease in volume. I think there are just a whole lot more people that know that there's a DeliverThat app than they know the other three. Skipcart, I'm not even sure how I got into their program for a advanced notice catering, and just one day, hey, do this. Okay, you can take these brain dead courses, and then you can qualify to receive orders ahead of time.
I appreciate you sharing that. It's very interesting because,
I have a
yes,
feeling they probably all watched your video on DeliverThat, and they all signed up for that, but didn't sign up for the other ones.
I was going to say, for some reason, DeliverThat is more popular. It does not mean you should ignore it, folks. Try it. It's free to solve. Some of these you pay for a background check, which is kind of unique. I think the ROI, or if it's worth it right after, it could be very well worth it because of these high margined offers. Anyway, this isn't sponsored. I think you should sign up for all four of these apps here. And it sounds like the workflow, like using the app, seems pretty similar, right?
Yeah. One of them, you have to get a signature when you pick up. One of them, you have to take a picture of what you've picked up. One of them, you just say that you picked it up.
I've been doing this gig work, and I appreciate Jim coming on. If you're getting value in having him on this channel, a part of our contributor program, if you want to apply, check out the link down below. And check out our new app, ShiftMates. It is now live. You can download it for iOS at shiftmateapp.com. I think that, yes, it might be more competitive. It's going to have less order volume. We've talked about DeliverThat and Skipcart. What about Zifty? And I guess we'll lump these together. Zifty and Expedites. Is there any standout, or is it kind of like more of the same thing? Like they're very similar?
Well, those last two, I see more bigger paying orders. And that's because both of them, I can register on the app that I have X number of bags. I have a foldable push cart. So automatically, I'm already bumped up a few levels in their priority. Zifty, a few weeks ago, I hit the 20 delivery mark, and that put me up to their top level. So now, a lot of times, Friday, Saturday night, I'm seeing offers for Monday morning, and they're still there at the end of Saturday night going into Sunday morning. So I know that I'm seeing the orders well ahead of time. Zifty is at the point where pretty much I'm not saying yes to an order under $30 unless I have nothing and it's, the next day. If you sign up for it, if you cancel at the last minute, you have to pay.
Correct. Okay. I appreciate you sharing that. So right now we're looking at Jim's setup here. You got a bunch of different catering bags, a Grubhub one, you got some maybe from Amazon, you got DeliverThat, which is kind of the blue turquoise there. But you made a great point. On Zifty, yes, if you cancel, there is a $10 cancellation fee. So it's good and bad. Like if you accept that offer, really on Zifty, you gotta take it. Otherwise, again, you incur a fee. But like Jim said, well, Zifty and Delivered or Expedite are paying like an average of $30 plus, especially because Jim is a ranked courier. He has the bags, like he says, he's taken at least 20 deliveries, which ranks you up based on the platform here. So you're using all four. The pay seems pretty solid. The mileage seems pretty low. Let's ignore that, lower margined offer from prior here. So generally, they're paying very well. That's what I've seen here in Pittsburgh as well. If you had to pick one, is there even one that stands out to you, or is it like really that close?
It would be a tie between Zifty and whatever the current name is as delivered.
Yeah, Expedite, delivered, whatever, right?
Yeah. And probably Zifty slightly higher just because I see orders farther ahead of time.
Okay, yeah. Now help me out here. Because you're ranked, like you have is it a higher status on Zifty? Is that the app?
Well, they have four tiers. The first one is you have catering bags. Second one is you have catering bags and you've done 10 deliveries. I think the third one is you have catering bags and a push cart and you have at least 10 deliveries. And then the last one is just you've done at least 20. Going up to 10 took a while. From 10 to 20 took like 2 weeks maybe. Okay. And now, like I said, I get 3-4 orders a week at least that I decide to take.
Okay.
So that's not including the ones I turned down.
Is there anyone you don't love? Like if you had to lose access to one, is there one that you're like, I don't really care? Is there a least favorite?
If order volume was the same, I would say, no, I want all four.
You got
right now, the order volume, I could probably get rid of DeliverThat. I get one offer maybe every 2-3 weeks. I think it's just like with DoorDash, you get enough Dashers signed up and hey, voila, you don't have the same quality order volume. Skipcart, it's just, it's hit or miss. That would be the second one to go just because their base pay is lower. But again, most of what you're bringing in is tip money. And since it's all easy cater, that means most of them have gratuities ahead of time. So you don't have to worry about, am I going to get stiffed on this? Or like with DoorDash, $7.50 plus, and then hoping that $7.50 plus becomes $37 and not $7.75.
If someone's getting in to catering gig apps, like what's a few tips that you'd give them when they're starting? Should they go out and get the bags immediately? Should they get a rolling cart immediately? Like what are some tips you think you'd give there?
I'm not sure if any of the apps will even let you sign up if you don't have at least some bags. Now, you don't have to have as many bags as I have to get started. But as you progress and you're making more money and you want to get higher ranked, so you get the bigger offers, you need to have more bags. That being said, you can get them fairly cheaply.
But like Jim said, you might need, not like recommended, required to have catering delivery bags. So if you have hot and cold bags, like no, I'm set. You actually need the larger, longer catering bags. And I do think it's worth the investment. Just 2. Typically, minimum threshold is like 2, kind of like Jim mentioned here. Is there anything, Jim, that's maybe a new gig worker might want to avoid? Mistakes. I know I didn't know how to set up a chafing tray, and I was in the office YouTubing a video how to set up a chafing tray. Yeah, the sterno in the water. I was like, I don't know. I was putting a puzzle together. So any mistakes, things to avoid if you're new?
Biggest thing to avoid is just showing up to the restaurant late. They have a timeline. They want the businesses to keep using Easy Cater. So if you're late, they're going to look at that and they're going to downgrade you almost instantly. That being said, don't get there half an hour early. You're just going to be wasting your time. I don't know about your market. I know here in Albuquerque, Easy Cater tends to have the restaurants have the food ready about 10 to 15 minutes before it needs to go out the door, which means if you're showing up there and picking it up within the window, but 15 minutes before the pickup, you're going to have to find a way to make a 10-minute drive last 25 minutes. On the other hand, once you do have the food get there as soon as you can, because then you can see, am I going to need 5 minutes to walk there? If I'm delivering to a hospital and I get there 5 minutes ahead of time, really what that means is I'm going to get to their room about the time I'm supposed to anyway. Throw in a couple minutes of setup time and suddenly getting there 5 minutes early is just fine because you're still delivering it at the right time.
I love all of that because I'm going to reiterate, what you said there. Folks, on catering, time is always important. Oh, contract violations on DoorDash, this and that, a flag on Uber Eats. On catering, like Jim said, it really matters. And when they say deliver by, remember on catering, like we were talking about, you most likely have to set it up. And most of those, for gig apps, they tell you if setup is required or not. Sometimes the customer will disclose. Still, ask the customer just to make sure. But they're running meetings, they're running trainings, they're running their business around this lunchtime, around this conference. Maybe it's a party, maybe it's game day. Okay, it's not all offices. They're running plans around this. Sure, like if you mess up 7 minutes late for Janet or Tim on their lunch, that stinks. You don't want to be late. But if you're messing up a meeting of 50 to 60 people and, it's going to affect their company, it's going to affect their training, et cetera, you get the point. It's very crucial that you are punctual and what you're doing when you're setting up these runs. I appreciate your feedback today. Coming on the channel again, a part of our contributor program. And I know you got a catering run just after this, so I hope that goes well.
Yeah, should. I just did some quick numbers. For people who might not believe what you say about dollars per mile being important, last week was phenomenal because of some of the orders. I mean, I found out what 60 dozen donuts looks like. I mean, that was $2.50 a mile for 34 hours. The week before that was good. It was $1.89 a mile, but to have the same net, I would have had to work almost 60 hours. At $1.50 a mile, I would have had to work almost 77 hours to have the same net pay. So everything he says about your dollar per mile is extremely important. I don't want to work 80-hour weeks. I like seeing my wife. I like sleeping.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, pay attention to that. Catering is huge. Just don't join in Albuquerque because I don't want the competition.
Right. Well, the good thing, folks, and here's the donuts, by the way, as you saw. But the good thing is it is kind of transitory. People are coming in and out, and we can have that conversation, about the growing populace of the gig economy down below. But again, I appreciate the insights today, Jim. Go do that catering run. Hang with me here. But folks, I want you to hang with me here as well as a subscriber, if you can. My name is Mike. All I do is help you make money in different side hustles. Literally today, at least the time of filming this video, I released a app for you to help track your income, tax reporting, bring that to your tax professional or CPA, discover apps, compare apps, learn from others, and earn money with referrals and more. That is shiftmateapp.com. And I'll see you very soon in the next video.